There he is. Start it off. Gentlemen, what am I bid for this man?
50 pounds.
50 pounds. Well, we'll take no insults here. This young man, why, he's 22 years of age. Strong and fit as a bull. Trained in the lath and the forge. His contract, gentlemen, calls for 5 years. 5 years service.
Wolf, we do not need. Mit the Fräuleins you will start.
Mind your eyes, Boone.
Order, gentlemen. Please. Look, be quiet or I'll stop this auction right here and now. Now, gentlemen, I've been offered 50 pounds for this young man. What do I hear now?
60 pounds.
60 pounds, I'm bid. Do I hear 70? Do I hear 70, gentlemen? Going at 60? Going? Gone. Sold to the gentleman here for 60 pounds. Right this way, sir. You step right up with the clerk. Thank you very, very much. Now, young ladies, you step right up here. You're next. Right up here on the stand. Might help if you try smiling.
What for? So they can see my teeth?
Yes, gentlemen. It's time for inspection now before the next auction. If you please. Let me have a short and strong one. I'm going to need it. You, by any chance, sir, in the market for a pair of servant girls, or maybe even a wife?
Me? No, I'm a trailblazer from west of the moon set, and I ain't aiming to clutter up the wilds with no women.
Oh. You're leaving town, then?
As soon as my partner shows up.
How would you like to have that money grow a mite?
Grow?
About 10%. Those two girls on the stand there, they're sisters. And their papers say they have to be sold together. Now, I could sell the young one easily, but the other one... And I have to get 100 pounds for both of them. Now, if you would...
Run up the bidding? Say to 100 pounds?
You've just made yourself 10 pounds, but make it sound very natural now. All right, now, gentlemen. Gentlemen, you've had your look. Let's get on to the auction, please. Now, here, gentlemen. Here we have 2 gems from the Emerald Isle, trained in the art of husbandry. Added to this, their angelic faces and sweet dispositions.
Keep your paws off me, old cooter. You'll be eaten with your feet.
Plus, old gentlemen, wait now. Plus, the ignorance of luxury, and you have values unsurpassed. Their contract, gentlemen, calls for 3 years faithful service. What am I bid? 30 pounds. In English, please, English. That's 30 pounds. 30 pounds I bid. Do I hear 40? Do I hear 40 pounds?
You wouldn't be trying to steal those beauties, would you, Dutchman? 40 pounds.
40 und
50 pounds.
60 pounds.
70 pounds.
70 pounds is bid, gentlemen. Now, do I hear 75 pounds?
75.
75 pounds is bid. Do I hear 80 pounds? 80 pounds. 80 pounds is bid. Now, do I happen to hear 85 pounds, gentlemen?
85. What are you doing?
I gotta run it up to 100 pounds.
100 pounds.
Sold to the gentleman who just bid 100 pounds. Thank you very much.
Daniel Boone was a man, yes, a big man, with an eye like an eagle and as tall as a mountain was he. Daniel Boone was a man, yes, a big man, and he fought for America to make all Americans free. From the coonskin cap on the top of old Dan to the heel of his rawhide shoe, the rippin'est, roaring'est, fightin'est band the frontier ever knew. What a boon, what a doer, what a dream come true. What a boon, what a doer, what a dream come true was he.
I'll never be. I feel like I've been walking since the day I was born. Doesn't this bloody black land of yours ever end, Mr. Boone?
And you just about got a leg up. We got 60, 70 miles to go before Kentucky even makes your acquaintance.
Well, the introduction will have to wait. Molly and me have walked our last foot for this day.
Miss, I'm afraid we'll have to move along. We're in some danger here, and this is Indian country.
The promised land, they call it. A new land of freedom and opportunity, where even a sorry pair like the O'Hanrahan sisters can find a special rainbow all their very own. Rainbow, indeed. The 'tween deck of a foul-smelling, leaky ship, a Carolina dock where the livestock fared better, and now Indian country. Well, heathen or not, Mr. Boone, Molly and me are not walking another step this day. That's my last word.
You just keep sitting on that rock, miss.
O'Hanrahan. Kathleen O'Hanrahan, if you please.
And it will be your last word. Shawnees have a pick up our sign.
Yeah.
In a strange land, and what do you do but walk our feet to the bone and throw us down against the earth, all because of some poor innocent heathen?
Miss O'Hanrahan, those were not poor heathen. Those were Shawnee, and if they'd have picked up our sign, more than likely we'd be strumming a harp right now. We've got 4 hours of daylight left and a lot of miles to cover before we can breathe easier. Now, you're going to cover those miles, dragging or walking. It's up to you.
Oh, well, I do feel a bit rested now. Nerve of it.
Well, you got to admit, she does have grit.
100 pounds.
I think that bread should be about ready. Careful, Becky.
Now, look what you went and did, Becky Boone. It's plain foolishness. And here I am, not 20 feet away with everything it takes to work with hot metal. And you reach in there with a patch on your bare hand. Women, it's a miracle to me the human race has survived.
It survived because of men like you, Mr. Boone.
Well, just don't be picking up those hot loaves until they cool. And then I'll be having a chunk.
I look too bad, Flavia?
If a woman ever looked any better with her husband gone, it wouldn't be decent.
Mom, look what Paul brought us.
A surprise?
She hurt her foot.
Who are they?
Kathleen and Molly O'Hanrahan. Lately of Ballybunion and Castle Gregory, thank you.
My wife, Rebecca.
'Twill be a pleasure sharing your roof, Mrs. Boone.
My roof!
Well, you see, it happened this way. Well, so there I was. Half the town of Salem heard me say 100 pounds. And, well, here they are. Kathleen and Molly O'Hanrahan.
Am I to understand, Daniel Boone, that you bought these young ladies?
Well, just for 3 years. I've got the papers right here. Well, there wasn't anything else I could do.
Oh, and just what else did you try to do?
Well, everything. I went to the magistrate and I told him I couldn't do it. Right, Yetkin? And he threatened me with jail for non-fulfillment of my contract. Right, Yetkin? And I told him that I would let the girls go free, and he said he'd put me in jail for deserting my charges. Right, Yetkin? And I told him that Boonesboro was no fit place for 2 unwed young ladies.
Right, Yetkin?
Yes, ma'am.
And the magistrate up and slapped him on the back and said 'twas known the length and breadth of the land what a fine, upstanding man he was, to be sure. And what a blessing we should find such a place.
Molly.
And I can see for myself 'twill be a rare pleasure making your acquaintance.
You're dead wrong, miss. It's a hard land, and a smile won't make it any softer. It's a shame, a child like you. Whoever bound you out should be horsewhipped.
And limber your whip, Mr. Blacksmith, for the decision was mine. And quite a nerve you have to question it, knowing none of the reasons.
There can be no reason for selling a child into servitude.
Well, I know you're dead tired after your travels, and right up those stairs are a couple of bunks where you can stretch out while we get this straightened out.
Come along, man. The nerve of it.
Daniel, this you're gonna need.
3 years.
Well, Becky, I don't blame you for the way you feel, but as long as I'm legally responsible for those...
Understand this right now. You're not bringing those shamrocks into my home. Either they go or I do. And I'm going to tell them that right now.
Becky.
I know. It was only your spirit smiling through. But 'tis a strange land, Molly. And there'll be those who'll read mischief in your eyes when none was meant. And they're not worth crying for. No man is. I recognize your trouble, Mrs. Boone. And I'm sorry we're to be the cause of it.
All women are born children. Give them their head, they're bound to do something foolish. Like those 2 girls upstairs, giving away 3 years of their lives.
Only thing to match it is Daniel being so foolish as to buy him.
I didn't buy him. Yadkin was bidding up the price.
Now, Donald, it wasn't me opened my mouth and hollered out 100 pounds.
Now, Dan, did you think that Becky was going to bring 2 women into her house for 3 years?
Well, not exactly. You know, I've been thinking. There are a few places around Boonesboro that could stand a gentle touch.
That's for certain.
Now, take this place. Dirty, colorless, can't find anything.
So what else was there to do? Potatoes blighted in the ground and all the people desperate for the very breath of life. 'Twas then that the far-off hills of the new land looked green indeed.
Daniel, you think I'm taking on any stray female?
Think, Cincinnati. Think. If you had a couple of pretty little females serving that bare-bite batch of yours, your profits would double. Not to mention the wear and tear on the furniture without all that fight.
With the way that young'un waves her eyelashes around, there's liable to be twice as much fight.
And coming over on the ship, it was men, posing and smirking and drilling us through with their eyes.
Men. Once they find a woman helpless, they're after her like painted savages.
And on Saturday nights, there'll be music and dancing, and people will drift in here all the way from Salem. And your profits will double with their pleasure. So, I am just going to hand over this little contract to you for 1 shilling, just to make it legal. And all you've got to do is board them and protect them and put a little aside for their dowry.
Daniel! Have you lost the only speck of decency you ever had?
Oh, Becky, I was just trying to...
I know what you were doing. You were trying to sell these poor, helpless orphans to that fur-stealing poison peddler. Come on, girls. You're not going to spend another second in this terrible place. We're going home.
Home? Well, I thought you told me that...
I never said any such thing, and even if I did, you had no right believing me.
You'll never expect anything of a woman, and you'll never be disappointed.
Fine. What'll I do now?
This is what you've been asking Becky to do right along. Your problem is solved.
Hi, Pa.
Hi, boy. You out here all alone?
Most always am.
I thought today you'd be getting acquainted with your new sisters. Maybe we better call them aunts. How do you like them?
All right, I guess. When you built us a new room?
New room?
On the cabin. Mom said you would. And clearing another 5 acres.
I don't see how I can do that if I'm building a new lean-to.
And planting it with potatoes. See, lots of potatoes.
I hope they're planning on doing something besides eat.
Pa, Don't know his ma wants you in there.
Well, now, son, I reckon all men have a little tiff with their wives now and then, but it's nothing for children to enter into. It's my home. I built it, and I reckon I can go in and out as I please.
You're asking for it.
What a dreadful experience for two girls from a civilized country. Nothing to eat but meat. No place to sleep but the ground. Well, now that you're home, you'll find a little refinement.
And what a comfort it is for sure, Mrs. Boone.
But you'll be spoiling it. 'Tis Molly and me should be drawing and heating the water.
You'll get your rest first, so don't argue. Now, into the tub, both of you.
Hey, Becky. Sure, I'm glad.
Daniel! Don't you know enough to knock before you enter?
Trying to tell you, Pa.
Turn over, Israel. Come on, turn over.
Can't sleep.
Seems to me anybody who sleeps on the ground as much as you do wouldn't mind the floor.
Well, I usually pick soft ground. It's my understanding those girls came with me that they were to share the work and take the good and the bad.
As long as they're here against their will, they'll be treated as our guests.
But Becky, 3 years?
Be quiet and let the poor, tired things sleep. Where are you going?
I'm gonna pick me a nice soft pine bed, the kind of bed I know best.
Now see what you've done, Mrs. Boone. I told you 'twas for us to sleep on the floor.
Oh, my conscience wouldn't allow it. Not as long as I know Dan bought you like horses.
But it wasn't that way at all. All your Dan did was to pay the bill for our passage. And now for sure it's up to us to make it up to him somehow.
Just what it amounted to.
A great kindness he did us. And every word he said was the truth about what to set us free of our bond.
And that devil of a magistrate threatening him with the law if he did so.
Mrs. Boone, on the journey here from Salem, your heart would skip if you could have heard the words that your Dan spoke of you.
It was Becky this and Becky that, and how the very goodness and beauty of you was a mighty whirlpool drawing him home. Come now. I'm not so long from the old country that I can't recognize the words of those who recently kissed the Blarney Stone.
Not a touch of it. Every word's abound in truth. Why, we knew you the instant. By the tint of your hair and, the faith of your smile.
Enough. Back to bed with the both of you. And get some sleep. Go on. Tomorrow's another day.
And I didn't even have to tell her. He said he'd rather face a raging bear than Becky in a temper.
What's up, a coon hunt?
Nope. Manhunt.
It's dangerous?
Yep, especially when he happens to call himself your best friend.
Well, do you know where to find him?
Yeah, I found him. Come to tell him he's getting married.
Me? Married Carolina E. Yadkin? Well, I wouldn't know what to do with a woman.
Started planting potatoes, for one thing. Irish girls like lots of potatoes.
Dan, you sure you ain't walking in your sleep, Dan?
Never been a sleep camp with all those women. They wouldn't be there in the first place if it hadn't been for your foolishness.
You have to keep reminding me of that.
Those indenture papers say I got to be responsible for him for 3 years unless I can find somebody who will be responsible for him.
Well, then what are you talking to me for? You know I'm the most shiftless, footless, undependable, neglectful, incompetent, irresponsible, disgraceful cuss ever broke a mother's heart.
That's just it, Yadkin. I'm worried about you. The way things have been going, only one thing will help you. Marriage.
No!
Responsibility. Why, you'll be a new man when you start taking care of Miss Molly and Miss Kathleen.
You mean you're trying to give them both to me?
That's what the papers say. They go together. And tomorrow, Boonesboro is going to see the finest wedding you ever saw. And you're going to see it first rate because you're going to be standing right up in front with Miss Kathleen.
Dano! But, you know, Miss Kathleen's got something of a mind of her own. She better have a choice. You better go home. I'll round up every eligible bachelor that needs a woman.
Oh, no. I'm not going to let you out of my sight. Not until I know that I am going to hear wedding bells.
Hurry up, Molly. It's coming on light already.
Coming on light? Kathleen, it's still the middle of the night.
Middle of the night or no, it's time to be up and doing. There's a basket outside in a cornfield. The sooner you put the two together, the sooner there'll be corn mush boiling in the pot.
I still don't see why we...
Holly, there's one thing you're forgetting. It is not our roof we're under. This is not our hearth. We're here to pay Mr. Boone back our indenture. And if it means working the night through 3 years running...
And forgetting hot needles in the middle of the night.
Molly...
I know. There's a cornfield outside in a basket. Put them together.
What are you doing up this unseemly hour?
Why y'all are so mad?
Mad? Who's mad? All I said... I guess it does come out a bit sharp, doesn't it?
Sure does.
I don't mean it to sound that way. It's just the way it comes out. The county carry birthright.
Sure sounded like you were mad at Molly.
Maybe that comes from trying to be mother and father and sister all at once. And maybe that's the only way I can be sure that Molly will be raised proper.
Why can't Molly raise herself proper?
Because Molly's still a child, and she'll need a firm hand. But I'm afraid my hand with Molly hasn't been all that sure. Leaving Ireland, signing that commission into indenture. I thought it was the right thing at the time. But now...
Can't you do anything about it?
Needles and pins. When a man marries, his troubles begin. And with both Molly and me to take care of, a man would have more than his share of troubles. But that's the only solution, Israel. Marriage. There's only one problem. No man in his right mind would marry a tongue as sharp as mine.
I would. I mean, if you need a man.
Israel Boone, next to church bells on a Christmas morning. That's the nicest sound I ever heard. Except, of course, now, I don't believe in short engagements. They're not proper, don't you think? So, maybe we should wait a while. Say, 20 years. Just to make sure that we're doing the right thing, naturally.
Naturally. I guess it's time I better get dressed.
Israel, thank you very much for your offer.
You're welcome.
How come Paul left so early?
Well, I suppose he thinks that now there are 6 of us, he better lay in some more venison.
Didn't take his axe for skinning.
Oh, please, Israel, and if you're finished, will you go draw us a bucket of water so we can wash up?
Nobody else is finished.
Israel, do what Ma says.
Women. Always shoving the men out of the house.
He spoke the truth, you know. But it's not your fault. I guess I was too sharp with him.
But it's our presence that's done it. Could it be that he might have met with a bear?
Hardly a bear.
Or maybe the wild heathens came and took him while he was sleeping and helpless.
And not a heathen. Most likely he's taken to the woods thinking to bring me to my senses. And he'll be there many a day before that happens. And here he is back already.
I finished your new fire dogs last night. Just thought I'd bring them out.
Beautiful.
You must have been up all night.
Oh, I'd just like to get things done in the proper order. Is Dan home?
No. Would you care for a bite of breakfast, Mr. Boone?
Oh, I don't mind if I do. Lady, I realize I talked out of line yesterday. Came over on purpose to say so. But the lady of the house invited me to eat, and I aim to do it.
The lady of the house has servants to take care of her guests. You'll not be depriving me of my proper duties. And I'll put the fire dogs in the fireplace.
Why, don't touch those.
Wouldn't want them made of iron. Surely my touch isn't going to harm them.
Are you women all the same? It's your back I'm thinking of. Those weigh 80 pounds.
So what's that?
So enough for women to handle. Put it down.
This girl is slender as a sapling, hair like dancing moonbeams, and voice like the breeze in the pine tops, and a smile just like all the spring flowers.
It'd be a shame if she up and married the wrong man. A clerk or a storekeeper, maybe a traveling man. What she needs is a real tree-topping, mountain-shaking he-grizzly.
Yeah, that's me.
Well, to tell you the truth, she ain't much to look at. But she's strong in the back, and, well, she could pack your furs for you most as good as a mule.
Maybe better. There she is, just waiting for some strong man to come along, sweep her off her feet, and carry her away. Well, I might just take a little look into that.
I'm telling you, her eyes will melt the stones right out from under your feet. No two ways about it. You need that woman.
Maybe you're right. Woman, you ought to have more sense than to fill my plate again.
You should have more sense than to fill it the fourth time. But you ate it, didn't you?
Careful now. It's hot. How does it feel?
Well, I'm beginning to be able to wiggle my toes a bit. What happened to those girls in that hog fan?
Mr. Boone, it takes a little time to cut a slice big enough to wrap a foot the size of yours.
There, that ought to be big enough.
Who's that?
I don't know. Someone looking for Pa, I imagine.
Howdy, ma'am. My name's Ballard.
Well, if it's Mr. Boone you're looking for, he's not here.
Oh, I already seen him. He said I'd find a couple of mighty pretty young girls here. I reckon I found them.
I'd better take this back fat into Ma.
Just what would be your interest, Mr. Ballard?
Well?
Here's the fat, Ma. There's a man named Ballard out there talking to Molly.
Ballard. He's that redneck that moved in on Perch Creek.
Oh, that Molly. A man comes nigh and her wits go a-flying.
Looks like somebody's been sending up smoke signals.
Well, I reckon you fellas are all too late.
Looks to me like we're just in time.
Don't take much of a nose to smell this kind of trouble.
Wait till I get my shoe.
No need for you to have any truck with varmints like these.
Varmints?
Into the house with you, Molly.
Oh, but Kathleen, who'd be rude to my callers when we so lately met?
Callers?
That's right, ma'am. But we're not just the ordinary type callers. We heard the oldest Irish sister wanted to get married, and we're here to offer ourselves. Now, if you're willing, well, I'm ready.
Me? It'll please you to know that I'm the oldest sister, not Mrs. Boone. And I'd be all that delighted to meet the man who's dying to marry me.
Courting time's over, fellas. Time to run along.
All right, clear out of here.
think little Larry froze it.
Friends of yours, Daniel?
Why, thank you, ma'am.
Now that the fight's over, do you mind telling me what started it?
What started it? You mean who started it?
'Twasn't his fault, Mrs. Boone. He tried, heaven knows. The fault was ours for being here. For not staying where we belong.
You'll have to admit it wasn't a bad idea.
But that's not the way you go about it. Save men in here in droves as though all any of them had to do was snap his fingers and presto wedding bells.
Might be there's another way. The right way.
What do you mean?
The coming out party. Everybody invited. All dressed up in their Sunday best. You and me there to make sure the sisters O'Hanrahan are introduced proper.
Music, moonlight, the right clothes. You know, Daniel, there's hope for you after all.
Peace talk. Boone here felt badly about what happened this afternoon.
Well, I felt I was at fault.
So I convinced him he should tell the sisters O'Hanrahan that he's sorry. I'm not.
I brought Miss Kathleen these.
Don't you think you ought to give them to her yourself?
Well...
Make yourself comfortable. I'll fetch them.
No use in calling, Ma. They ain't there. They left right after supper.
Where, Mama? Where'd they go?
I don't know. They wouldn't tell us. Kathleen told us to give this to you when you found out.
Mr. Boone, I thank you and Molly thanks you for all that you have done, for all you've tried to do. But for us, your land has no rainbows, only sunsets and sorrows and what might have been. We have caused you and yours much trouble. Because of this, we feel we must go back to County Kerry. Our hope may be buried there, but at least we belong. Somehow, some way, we will pay back our indenture. Kathleen O'Hanrahan.
Israel, why didn't you tell us?
They made us promise. I even crossed my heart.
County Kerry, they couldn't find their way back to Boonesboro.
If they come back, keep them here if you have to sit on them.
I'm going with you.
Traveling ain't no job for a blacksmith.
Whatever I am is for me to do.
Certainly, I'm sure. At least I think I am. It's just that all these trails look so much alike.
Maybe we should go back, huh?
There's no turning back, Molly. Not for us. Not after what happened back there. We took one wrong turn in the road. We can't afford to take another.
Kathleen!
That's far enough, you heathen. Just stand where you are.
Shawnee, 8 or 10 by the sign.
Heading north. You go on back and get what men you can. Yeah, now I'll go on.
It'll be too late, Donlin, you know it. If we're going to save the girls, we've got to do it ourselves. The three of us.
You ain't got no weapons.
I've got these. All right, Boone.
I'm all right, Kathleen.
Don't jump them now and they'll kill the girls. We can't just sit here and watch. Double up ahead and dig in. I'll try to separate the girls and stampede them your way.
Come on, Boone.
Go with Yad.
He's going to get himself killed.
I think he's doing all right.
I thought he had quite a temper.
Miss Kathleen, are you all right?
Well, as well as can be expected under the circumstances.
Well, that was a fool thing to do, woman, running off like that.
I didn't run off. I walked off.
Good, steady temper is what you need, like good, solid iron. Our marriage will help. Next to a good hickory switch, it's the best thing in the world to gentle down a loud-talking female.
Our marriage? Loud-talking female?
I've thought it all out. The Spencer cabin is empty, and I figure that Molly and you and I can fix it up very nice.
What in the world are you talking about?
Well, it isn't much. The cabin that is. But roof needs fixing, the fireplace needs work.
If you think that I'm toting rocks for a fireplace, you've got another thing coming.
Miss O'Hanrahan, there's one thing you'll have to learn. My wife does as I tell her.
And you have to learn that nobody tells me what to do.
Now, this is the way to
Gee, I can. Do you have a cabin?
Of course I got a cabin. Think I live in the barn?
Is it a big cabin?
No, as a matter of fact, it's a very small cabin. Dan.
Come on, Molly.
Daniel Boone was a man, yes, a big man, with an eye like an eagle and as tall as a mountain was he. From the coonskin cap on the top of old Dan to the heel of his rawhide shoe, the ripperest, roaringest, fightingest man the frontier ever knew. Daniel Boone was a man, yes, a big man, and he fought for America to make all Americans free. What a boom, what a doer, what a dream come true. What a boom, what a doer, what a dream come true.